Hi guys, welcome to my channel Figure Eye Couture. In today's tutorial, I'll be showing you how to cut this simple wrap dress. It's beginner friendly. I'll be using chiffon fabric. You can use any fabric of your choice. We'll be making use of our scissors, our tape rule, and our chalk. The measurements used are posted on the screen. To begin, we start by marking out our top line, which serves as our shoulder line. On the shoulder line, we mark 3 inches for the neck width, then half of our shoulder measurement, which is 7.5 in this case, and half an inch plus for seam allowance. Then we come down from the shoulder line by 1 inch for the shoulder slope. From the shoulder slope, we mark half of our armhole measurement. Then on that same point, you also mark out half of your shoulder width plus seam allowance, and you connect the lines together to the shoulder slope to give it a straight line. After that, you mark out half of that armhole measurement. From the top line, we are going to mark out our half length measurement, which is 16 inches in this case. Then after marking it out, you measure from your waist to your hip, which I use 9 inches standard for every size, and you connect it out. Then from the shoulder line, you now measure the length of the dress. You know it's a dress with gathers, so we are going to subtract the length of the gathers from the total length of the dress and chalk it out. So you connect your neck point to your shoulder slope. Then you mark out the neck depth for the back, which is what I'm cutting now, and you connect it to the shoulder width. After you've done that, you mark out quarter of your bust measurement plus seam allowance, 1.5 inch seam allowance. Then on the waistline, you measure quarter of your waist measurement plus 1.5 inches seam allowance. You can use any seam allowance of your choice. On the hip line, you measure quarter of your hip measurement plus 1.5 inches seam allowance. Then on the dress length, you also measure what you have on your hip line, which is quarter of your hip measurement plus your seam allowance. Then you measure half an inch on the dress length line, which you're going to use to connect the gathers back to the dress, so the length of your dress is not shorter. The next step is to connect all your points together. From the bust line to the waistline, you connect with a straight line. Then from the waistline to the hip line, you connect it with a curve. Then from the hip line to the length of the dress, you connect with a straight line, just like how I'm doing in the video. Then you draw your armhole curve, making sure it touches half of that armhole measurement we marked earlier. The next stage is to mark our half-inch seam allowance on our shoulder slope that we're going to use to connect the shoulder together. Then you cut out. If you have watched this video up to this point, please make sure you give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if this is your first time. And we're done with the back. So you place the back on the front, leaving an extension of quarter of your waist measurement, and you extend the lines forward. So you come up from your waistline by 1.5 inches, which is the break point of your wrap. Then you connect your neck width to the 1.5 inch break point. You can use a straight line or a curve depending on how you want your neckline to be. When you're done with that, you check the neckline of the overlap to see if it is going to be too high or too low. Then you adjust when necessary before cutting. And if you have questions, please drop them in the comment section and I'll reply to any questions you have. So you cut everything out, and when you're done, you go back to your armhole. That half of your armhole measurement, which you marked earlier in the beginning, you come in by half an inch from that point and you connect to reshape your front armhole, because your back and your front armhole are not the same. So you cut it off. When you're done with that, you remove the back from the front. Then you curve the front of your wrap dress, because you know we're going to add gathers to that point and it's not going to be straight. It's going to have a slight curve at the front section. So we are going to make a smooth curve. You can use your curved ruler, you can use your free hand, anyone which you prefer. You make a curve and you cut it out. The next step is to cut the gathers. So we are going to use the remaining gown length as the length of our gathers. Remember, in the beginning, before we started cutting, we subtracted the gathers length from the length of the gown. So that's remaining, that's what we're going to use as the length of our gathers. So after doing that, we cut it out. I'm going to join these strips together to make up a single strip of fabric for our gathers. And I think in my case it was like 6 inches left for my dress length, so I added half an inch to join it to the dress, and I'm going to weave the edges. And when we're done with that, we cut the belt for the gathered dress. You can use any measurement of your choice. In this case, I used 4 inches. Then this is just me showing you how the gathers will look at the bottom of the dress before sewing it. After sewing, this is how it looks, guys. Please make sure you subscribe and click on the notification bell to be notified when I post new videos. Thanks for watching. Bye. After sewing, this is how it looks. Make sure you subscribe and click on the notification bell to get notified when I post new videos. Thanks for watching. Bye.